Hey guys, today we are going to look into the curious case of Robert, a mysterious player in Among Us who seems to have a cult following and some magical powers. A few days ago, I joined a lobby with this guy named Robert. The first thing he said was that he was a psychic and that he had special powers. I was skeptical of this and asked him to prove it, but the game started, so I don't know if he saw my message or not. Once after starting the game, he immediately called a meeting and accused some random guy of something unrelated to the game. He accused someone who had red skin of being the imposter because red was the color of ketchup. He was convincing enough to make others vote for red, so I just went with the flow and voted for red. The weird thing is, he was actually right. Red was the imposter. After red was voted out, I was thinking that maybe Robert was just hacking, or something like that. After all, who can guess the imposter just by the color of their character? He then reported a dead body sometime after the meeting. Since he was right the first time, I asked him who it was. Robert said it was himself. Okay, let's see, I thought to myself. So we voted and Robert was indeed the imposter. It sort of made sense that he knew who the imposters were, considering that he was an imposter himself, but I didn't get why he would snitch on his teammate. He was then kicked out of the game, probably because he was a nuisance to everyone, and I didn't see him again for quite a long time. The next time I encountered Robert was when I was server hopping to find a server that was almost full. After we went into the game, Robert immediately called a meeting and said the imposter was Pink. His reasoning? Pink had horns, and horns were for the devil. I played along, curious if Robert actually knew the imposters. Maybe he was imposter himself. The vote ended, and Pink was ejected, and it said that Pink was the imposter. At this point, I thought he's probably a hacker. There's no way he would have guessed that it was Pink without any solid evidence. The next person to be voted out was Cyan, but he was seen by some guy named Beep. However, after the game, Beep and another member called Siren Arc were sort of praising him and implying that he was some godly being who knew every imposter. Perhaps these people were members of his cult. I'm not really sure, but one thing is certain. This Robert guy has a lot of influence over the Among Us community. No one knows if he is genuinely lucky or just another hacker, but I do have some theories. The first theory I have is that Robert is just a hacker, and that one seems more likely than the other theories I have, but I don't believe that's the case. If he was a hacker, he would have done more than just exposing the imposter. The second theory I have is maybe he's just super lucky. That one is very unlikely. My final theory, and the theory I agree with most, is that he has a bunch of people who play with him. You can call them spies. So there's a higher chance of them knowing who the imposter is. They can give this information to Robert through a messaging platform so he can make the correct guess. Well, it's not really a guess if they know. That is the theory I'm leaning towards. I mean, if everyone hated Robert, then I think he would be a hacker, but since people treat him as quote-unquote their lord, I think that people are teaming with Robert. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And if I see Robert again, I will be sure to look into it, and if I find anything interesting, I will share with you guys. All we know is that he is either a hacker or he has a cult following that joins every game he joins. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you guys soon.